What up? What up? Good morning, everyone. We are going to be discussing the morning after UFC Vegas 112. By and large, this card was mad booty. It was a lovely little middle finger to send us off in 2025. Unbelievably boring, low skill card. However, there were a couple of fights that had some good work that we will be discussing. Before we do that, this entire study is going to be free. The whole thing's free. However, I can't put this footage on YouTube. So if you guys are watching somewhere like YouTube, go ahead and check the Patreon link, which is going to be in the description below. And I will have the direct link to this full study. You guys can check it out there. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let's go ahead and start with Giga Chikadze and Kevin Vallejos. So if you guys go to the Patreon and scroll all the way back, there's a study I did on how to beat stance switchers. And this study was looking at Patricio Pitbull Freire and Juan Archuleta. And Pitbull basically gave the textbook way of beating stance switchers. Now, Juan Archuleta, he's a coach, Dwayne Ludwig student, uses a ton of that switching and neutraling up. And Pitbull was able to crash as soon as Archuleta neutraled up. We're going to see that same principle play here. Now, Pitbull did a bunch of other things to kind of set up his crash, and a study goes further into that. We're not going to get too deep into that right now, but I want to just explain the idea of crashing when they neutral. So let's check this out right here. We're going to see Giga show his rear shoulder. We're going to see him show that rear front kick feint, very similar to how Izzy plays that. We see Kevin level change. So we're seeing a little bit of language happening between both athletes right here. They're communicating. We're going to see the left kick, but Kevin is far enough away, knows his distance. He can hollow that body out. He shows the back fist to stay safe. Kevin is going to step in, but then Giga is going to show that jab, and Kevin pulls out. Pause. And then we're going to see Giga is going to lower that level a little bit again. We're seeing some different head looks. And then from here, we're going to see Giga show the left straight, step in with that right jab. Again, Kevin knows that he needs to stay at a distance. And by the way, the study will go into why specifically the distance between the two athletes is so important to set the crash up. And we go into a lot more detail with that. But again, just to save time, Kevin wants to make sure that he is keeping as much distance and Giga can't touch him. And now look at this right here, guys. This is what all of the preceding sequence led up to. We're going to see the exact same Izzy front kick feint. But now, guys, I want to pause right here because look what this does to Giga's gut. See how it neutrals the gut up? It neutrals the shoulder up. And now Kevin is going to opt to crash in with his right hand. So again, all of that language that we're going to let rock right now is building up to lulling Giga into forward-moving negatives. I know this is going to be free, so negatives, we go into it a lot more in the longer form studies, which is any shot that's not intending to hit. I'll say it, or any movement that's not intending to hit. All of this is built to build up to this moment right here, which is allowing him forward, getting comfortable, moving forward, having that forward momentum as he neutrals up. And this is the perfect environment for which we can crash and clip. Let's look at where this leads to. We're going to talk about one of Giga's defensive patterns next. Let's go ahead and jump in. Now, guys, this part is wild, and this is something I dang near guarantee every single one of y'all's coaches have said this before. If you don't have a coach, if y'all don't train, you guys have probably heard someone talk about it on social media or whatever it is, which is not getting into a habit of backing straight up nonstop. Now, this is something that is widely known, but let's look at just how habitual it is to go into this pattern as opposed to having that healthy paranoia of cutting an angle. So let's check this out right here. So we are picking up right after Giga gets hit. I'm going to slow it down. I want you guys to pay attention to Giga's feet. So he gets clipped. Left foot moves 1, right foot moves 2. Left foot moves 3, right foot moves 4. Left foot 5, right foot 6. And I'm going to call that left foot 7 again because he hopped as he moved that right foot. And then one more right foot 8. Okay. And then he kind of settles in his stance. So that was 8 steps. 8 steps. And from a prime position in the ring, look where he now is. We're not done, though. One more, 9 steps. Look at the body posturing now. Now, this is something, I'm going to talk about the body posture in just a moment, so don't sweat. This is something that is so important that if you guys are kickers, if you like a longer range game, if you are a taller athlete who likes to just keep someone at the end of the jab, maybe you're not even a kicker, you just want to keep someone at that long range at the end of that long jab, a must for you, is you got to be able to deal with people who are going to try to run you down, hunt you down. You have your prime positioning in the center of the ring. Look at Giga's positioning now. And if you guys have watched a fight, you know what's going to happen after this, but I'll get to that in just a moment. Giga's positioning here is no longer in an athletic stance. He doesn't have a staggered foot position. He can't really be in a lowered stance, a lowered base. Shouts out to Khamzat Chimaev. I believe also on the Patreon, Khamzat versus Kamaru Usman in the build-up. I believe it was a pre-fight analysis between Khamzat and Dricus. We talked about Khamzat and Kamaru, and one of Khamzat's strategies is to take kind of a bummy shot in the center. Let me just let this rock so you guys got something to look at hearing my ugly voice. So one of Khamzat's strategies is to shoot a bummy shot when you have space behind you, and then you'll sprawl on his bummy shot. But on his knees, he will continue to drive into your sprawl such that the backs of your feet or the soles of your feet hit the cage. Once the soles of your feet hit the cage and he continues driving, the cage is going to force you to stand up. Once you stand up is when Khamzat can get in on your hips. Now, what does that have to do with this scenario here? Let's check this out. So when he gets clipped, look where his knees are at. Notice the angle of bend in his knees, right? He got clipped, but he's still in a decent enough like athletic posture where he has a little bit of knee bend. His feet are still staggered, right? Now that he gets backed all the way up, when he gets to the cage, look at this position here. He's much more straightened up. I didn't really pause on the best moment, but he's much more straightened up before he can try his exit out. So this is something we all have to be very mindful of. If we want to keep people at a distance, we have to be extra mindful of the cage. Now, all of that to say, these 8, 9, I can't remember how many steps I had counted, you have to address this defensive pattern. If you're a guy that's easy to run across the ring like this, it's a matter of time before you get your back on the ropes if you're boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing, or you get your back on the cage. And once you straighten out, or even if you don't fully straighten your body out, kind of elongate your body and get really tall, you have less options for getting out of trouble, which we're going to see right here. Now, it didn't have to go this bad for Giga. And yes, I am Monday morning quarterback. And so I'm saying no disrespect to Giga. A fight's a fight. Things are going to happen. It's tough to immediately be able to recall what you got to do in the heat of the moment. But it didn't have to go this bad for Giga. And we'll talk about one of the other elements that he could have put into play that would have kept him a little bit safer. However, understand that if you're not in the middle of the ring, now stepping back is no longer an option for you. You have to exit off to your sides. And if you're going to exit off to your sides, now that's one less thing the opponent has to prepare for. Well, I know he can't back up, so now I'll just clip him when he exits off to a side. Now let's look at where this led to. So talk about a defensive pattern. Let's look at this exit from Giga, and then he's going to get whop, boom, and god dang, look at that awful arm positioning. I hope that his shoulder is healthy after that, and I hope that he makes a good recovery. But look at the defense again. Guys, this is not something that you can just immediately recall and be like, oh, yeah, I should do this when you're in the heat of the moment, right? This is something that is a product of tons and tons and tons of drilling that you got to have like a healthy paranoia. I've been talking about that a lot with my students, with the folks on Patreon. You got to have a healthy paranoia in certain situations such that it's not a matter of doing something. It's a matter of you can't not do something, right? You can't not keep yourself safe when you're in these kind of less than ideal positions. Let's look at Giga's exit. But when we're looking at Giga's exit, pay attention to Giga's arms and his hands, his gloves. So we're going to see Giga exiting off towards his left. His left glove is kind of touching Kevin's right shoulder. And that right glove is out right here. Kevin is, and Giga's kind of dipping his head off to the side as he attempts to exit off towards his left in this direction here. And Kevin's going to rotate through and then bop, boom, slept son right here. Okay. And then is going to finish the work. Now, compare this defensive pattern. Let's look at it again. So left glove, shoulder, right glove, kind of swinging free. And bop right here. Okay. Now, no glove of Giga's is hindering Kevin's continued work. Nothing is stopping Kevin, or at least putting up a roadblock for Kevin to pull off a spin back fist and end the fight. What could Giga have done better to keep himself out of trouble? Again, you're already you're starting this position in trouble. You're in a really rough situation because of that defensive pattern that we discussed of backing straight up. But could he have done something better with his hand configuration here such that he stayed a little bit safer? Now, we talked about in, I believe, the most recent breakdown that I dropped on the Patreon, which was on Nadaka Yoshinari. Now, and by the way, there's a free version clipped, I believe, on YouTube and the Patreon as well. Nadaka had the half moon hand configuration. The half moon hand configuration, talking about not just a matter of thinking to do it, but you can't not do it. Nadaka's half moon configuration is an immediate go-to. Immediate. And this half moon hand configuration has kept him out of a lot of trouble, especially in situations like this where you're already in a rough position. You have no backwards motion. You have to exit to your side. There is that understandable risk for the spin back fist. Okay, well, how do I keep myself a little bit safer at the very least? How do I put some roadblocks up? Let's check out how Nadaka plays that half moon. So here we're going to see Nadaka. I believe this is the Rajdan Nern flyweight, super flyweight champion. But from here, we see Nadaka backed up against the ropes because the opponent threw some smoke. Now, from here, he needs to exit out. How does he exit out? Pay attention to his arm configuration. He's going to touch the opponent's glove. He's going to reverse collar tie. Look at how he maintains these controls as he gains his distance. Now, you guys are probably going to say, well, okay, that's all good and well, but it was a spin back fist, and the Rajadamnern champ doesn't have his spin back fist glove hindered. Fair enough. But from here, you're controlling that reverse collar tie, which can allow you a little bit of distance. And also, this will allow you to kind of have that tactile, that feeler out there, such that you can immediately start feeling when he is ready to spin. In addition, this arm is at least halfway up and ready to defend a potential spinning attack, as opposed to having this arm, as Giga did, all the way out here, kind of lackadaisically kind of dangling out right here. So if you guys have to get out, this is an excellent position. Let's check out one more instance of Nautica using this half moon, and there aren't too many established hand controls like a glove and a reverse collar tie control, as we see here. And you guys will see that you can still play this half moon in a more similar situation to Giga and Kevin, and it again, even if it doesn't fully keep you out of trouble by shutting down the spin back fist, it provides roadblocks against the spin back fist. Let's go ahead and check it out. So here we're going to see Nautica is on the ropes. The opponent is stalking him. Let's look at the same exiting situation with the half moon. He's going to exit off towards his right shortly after this teep right here. And he's going to touch the opponent's glove. Pay attention to this arm. This is what I'm referring to. Simply having that arm out, even if you don't turn it into a reverse collar tie, this now is going to be a roadblock if the opponent tries to use his left glove to spin back fist as Nautica exits. So right here, this is a defensively responsible exit with that more shallow looking half moon pattern, because he wasn't actually able to get long lasting like tactile controls. It's all good. This is just an insurance policy. If you try to get spicy, you try to spin on me, I'm still good, because look, my elbow, my bicep is going to be able to block any of that spinning work. So this next one that I'm going to finish out with, this is for my short kings out there. I see you, I feel your pain. By the way, if you tall and you got hair on your head and you ain't got man titties, turn this joint off, son. Don't even watch my stuff. I don't need that type of negative energy following me, son. You know what I mean? If you watching my stuff, you got to be rocking B cups like me, going through what I go through every day. Let me see if I can cue this up real quick. All right, perfect. So, guys, short folks, understand, it seems like this world ain't built for us. However, it's ways to get around these tall dudes doing their thing. And one of the ways that I talk about a lot is exploiting the tall man defensive pattern. What is the tall man? Pretty much one of the main go-to defensive patterns. Well, let's let this rock. Don't watch Cop right now. I want you guys to watch Royval. Look at his lean back positioning. Wait for it. Wait for it. Boom. This right here. Y'all see this lean back right here? Lean back. Usually the rear arm is going to be somewhat high, and then we have this longer, more extended rear arm. So this positioning here is one of the go-tos for tall guys. And by the way, you know, all the tall homies, I do got love for you guys. If y'all are watching this, you can probably hold me down, right? Y'all play this type of defensive pattern where you kind of pull back and lean back like this quite often, which is understandable given y'all's anatomical structure. Is, well, you don't want that guy right up on you, right? So you're going to pull away just to get a little bit of comfort, to keep a little bit of distance between you and the athlete, the opponent. Now from here, Cop is going to continue moving in, and then those of y'all who watched it, he's going to be able to clip Royval in with that right hook. But I want you guys to now pay attention to Cop. Look at Cop's body positioning. You guys see how he himself is almost underneath Royval. So he is at most right at Royval's titties, right? If not, maybe a little bit underneath them titties, right? Short Kings, understand, if you guys can, let me say it like this. Y'all have been at a beach before and you see a wave coming at you and you got two options. You can stand there and let the wave hit you, or you can dive underneath that wave and let it go over top of your back. Now, as a shorter athlete, you have two options. You can come in at their more or less as close to their eye line as possible, and you could potentially get hit with their wave of their counter offense as you are coming in. Kopp is going to lower his level as he comes in. And now, by no means was this perfect execution from Kopp, but what this does, this lowering of the level and keeping your head right at that opponent's titties right there, that makes it difficult for a taller opponent to see your shots coming, especially if you're closing distance as you do so. So if someone is starting a shot right here, I can see that shot in my eye line. But if they're starting a shot all the way down here, just under, like just above where that camera is picking up, by the time it clips me, because they're coming from such a low angle and they're already head almost like in my chest, it's really difficult for me to see that shot defended by the time I get clipped with it. Now, again, does Kopp get touched a little bit on this entrance? Pause. Yes, he does. However, that same principle of lowering that level, ideally he would be able to come underneath some of these shots from Royval and taking advantage. As soon as someone level changes and gets really close to you as a taller athlete, that's going to make you do that same tall man defensive pattern of getting long, pulling your head back and extending that lead arm, almost like a looser long guard. And you have a couple options there. You can continue moving forward, coming underneath, from underneath them, or you can take advantage of the now elongated body, and you can start firing to the body. But again, this was great work from Kopp. But again, I wanted to highlight defensive patterns in this study, both from Giga and from Royval. Again, guys, hope you guys enjoy this. It's the least I can do after you guys had to stay up for that mostly booty card. If you have any questions, please holler at me in the comment section below. Patreon.com/boringbreakdowns if you guys would like to watch the, if you guys are watching on YouTube, the fully free unblurred version is going to be on patreon.com/boringbreakdowns. Also, you guys will get access to all of the other long form work that I had referred to in this study, the Nautica series, etc. And it is also the best way to support the work. But if you guys are watching on YouTube, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing is all a huge help as well. Guys, thank you guys again. I appreciate y'all. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.